welcome back to the Shawn Witten Coaches Show. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. Thank you for being with us. And use terms in football back in the day, old-fashioned slobber knockers, barn burner. Use the adjective to describe football games when they're dandies. And, Coach, we had a dandy Friday night at the Stone Castle, and you were telling me before we got on the air that maybe one of the best games you have ever been involved in. It was a thriller from start to finish.
Well, first, Tom, it was an unbelievable football night. It was an unbelievable football game. One of the best I've ever been a part of. One of the best to just East Tennessee just to witness. A great football team in Tennessee High. Even without their star running back and the surf shuff, but just a big offensive line. Came down the last play, and we're just fortunate enough to come on the other side. But Coach Mays did a great job. Their staff just applaud them for their effort, their game plan. Their kids fought extremely hard. It was just both teams are so similar, the styles they play, and both lines were big. But our kids came through. We made a play when we needed to, and just hats off to both teams. It was really a great football game.
Talked to several people there, including our buddy Doug Fritz, who's on our sports show every week talking about high school football. And he said, of course, he covers it for the Johnson City Press, probably one of the best games he's ever witnessed and had a chance to write about. So it was a thriller, great crowd. The weather was great. I mean, it had all the ingredients of having one of those classic matchups. And, of course, 21-20 Cyclones win it, and you didn't disappoint the fans. And, again, as you said, hats off Tennessee High. They went without their big guy, had a high ankle sprain and Sir Shuffs. They didn't even see him, but they still competed and battled. So that's a credit to his team. And, of course, the Cyclones did the same, got you the win.
Well, it was, the story of our season this year, Tom, has just been adversity, challenging the kids in different ways to overcome adversity, different guys stepping up, making plays. We were down 14-7 at halftime. And, we just found a way to regroup. Our defense has been playing great all day long, and offensively we turned it over once. We had a chance to make a play in the end zone and threw an interception, but our defense kept being resilient. We had a number of guys stepping up. Our defensive line played a magnificent football game, and we got a running game going. Our Turner brothers started running football extremely hard. We started executing. And, we ended up coming with a big football play. We scored, and they blocked our extra point. And then the next series, we came up with a big hit on 3rd and 5, and we were able to scoop and score a 50-yard touchdown return by Jacob Turner, and it just really got us going. So, we just talk about it all the time. We talked about it on last Monday when we were going into the game. There was going to be a heavyweight boxing match, and it was going to come down to the last drive, last play, last minute. And our kids came through with a big play. Really could have gone either way. It was great effort. It was a great football game. Both teams really just laid it all out there. And I'm just glad I didn't have to be the one to go for two or make that decision. But it's just Tennessee High Elizabethton's always been a great game the last 3 years. It's been deciding by 7 points, 3 points, and then Friday night 1 point. But just goes down to credit our kids. A different group stepping up. The last 2 weeks we've been throwing the football. This week, the Turner brothers started running the football extremely hard. Our defensive line played extremely well. Our secondary tackled. We made the plays on some special teams to really help us out, and it's just a total team effort.
Cyclone Pride big time. Last Friday night at the Stone Castle in Bristol. We'll take a quick break, come back, and we'll, again, show the highlights package as we do each and every week. And, of course, later on to the show, we always go back and review the last game and get ready for the next game, which is a barn burner, ready to go Friday night. Number 5 in the state, Elizabethton. Number 9 in the state, Pigeon Forge. Going to collide here again in Elizabethton. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on to the show. Quick break. We'll be right back from Champion Chevrolet and Blue Lizard, and we'll come back and take a look at the highlights package right here on the Shawn Witten Coaches Show.
Trucks, 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 and more trucks. At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, we have Silverado trucks everywhere with discounts up to $11,000 off MSRP on select Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. 15 Spark, $10,995. 15 Sonic, $12,995. 15 Track, $17,995. 15 Equinox, $20,995. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where they leave you asking, how do they do that?
Whether lying on the beach, just working in your yard, or watching NASCAR racing this weekend in Bristol, your skin needs protection from the harmful effects of the sun. Blue Lizard Sunscreen delivers broad-spectrum SPF 30-plus protection that comes with smart bottle technology. Our bottle changes colors in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. It's the brand most recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide, plus it's made right here in the Tri-Cities. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, we've got you covered. Welcome back to the Shawn Witten Coaches Show. I want to say thanks to our sponsors, Champion Chevrolet on the Bristol Highway Motor Mile, Johnson City, and also Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen. Of course, Jeff Bedard, the president, will tell you that the wintertime is probably more important to have sunscreen on than the summertime because of the UV rays. And so we appreciate Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen so very, very much, again, for being the sponsor of our program and of our show. Coaches, get us started. The highlights, Tennessee High scores first 7-0. Cyclones come roaring back and tie this thing up again. And then, of course, they go ahead 14-7. But talk about that first highlight package, the run by Jeremiah Turner.
Well, we did a great job answering. You know, when they scored first, we put a drive together. We had to answer. We moved the football down. And, we really talked about our running backs, really establishing the line of scrimmage, and they're going to have to run hard. We use the term like dirty yards. They're going to have to fight to get those dirty yards, and they ran hard. And, Jeremiah's a senior. He's done a good job the last 2 weeks of doing his job in the pass protection. And, we knew that we're going to rely on the running game this week. We had to. We had to keep our defense off the field and give them a break at times. And it was a big closeout drive. And we used multiple formations, a lot of different personnel packages there. And as you can see, we're in a tight end spread set, and he was able to get in off tackle.
Of course, they're going to halftime trailing 14-7. Neither team scored in the third quarter of such a back-and-forth football game and just a lot of physical play. And you come back in the fourth quarter and put 14 on the board, and you start with the Jeremiah Turner 1-yard run, and that's where the road grader, big Scotty Oliver, holy smokes, watch this block. He just obliterates the Tennessee High defender. And again, that's just power smash mouth football.
Well, we started the game with Scotty in there, and we just wanted to really set the tone, and, man, he had two unbelievable blocks, and they just, anytime he's in there, they got to be aware of him. But we went with a formation we used against them 2 years ago. It's we call it like a stack eye. It's two fullbacks in there with the tailback. Scotty's the lead blocker who takes the first man out, and then the second fullback leads up inside there. But I really like the way that when that ball snaps, how hard those three guys go. And Jeremiah does a good job of, it's an old play that we ran three years ago, and Jeremiah being the senior was really familiar with that, and the angle was unbelievable. But it all starts with that the lines up block, the front, the block, and then Scotty Oliver, and then Chris Taylor leading us through there.
They explode at the snap of the ball. Be a good way to describe it. And when you're Scotty Oliver, what is he, 6'3", and but even bigger than that, isn't he? About 6'5" and 285 something.
Pretty close to it.
When Scotty explodes. Holy smokes! And so again, big touchdown for the Cyclones to come back. And this last touchdown, of course, this is the play of the game. What a presence and an awareness on the field to see this loose pigskin. All these guys you'll see on the highlight there in the right there in the middle of the fray, and Turner picks it up and runs for a touchdown. Great awareness.
Well, at halftime we talked about, in the previous games, we've been creating turnovers like crazy, and we just needed a play. We need somebody to step up. Our defensive line coach, Coach Williams, at halftime was talking to the defensive lineman about it. First man getting there, second man trying to strip it, and that we just needed a play, and we were able to swarm the football. It's a 3rd and 5, and we had multiple guys get there. But you talk about a great awareness play, and able to scoop it and get that direction, and be able to scoop it and not have your knee on the ground, and then to be able to avoid a tackle. It's just one of the other Turner brothers, he had a great game, does a good job playing safety. He was actually, on the first touchdown that they scored, missed 2 tackles, so it's, talk about composure and overcoming adversity and staying in the football game, guys stepping up and made a play for us, and for him to get the end zone, that was an unbelievable football play for us.
Yeah, in this particular play, obviously, he picks up the ball, has a presence to get the football, then he gets up and has a presence to take off run, and then, as you see, he juked the guy, really, really cool to break loose and to score the touchdown. So, huge play in the football game. Sets us up the final highlight, and again, I don't know if that was the play of the game, because this one was pretty important too, where they stop them on the 2-point conversion and set this play up for the Cyclones.
Well, they drove the ball down there, converted a 4th down play. We were kind of on our heels a little bit. They had some momentum. They did a good job of, working their timeouts, and after they scored, they called timeout, gave us a chance to kind of catch our breath and regroup a little bit. And we were talking about in the headset, we still had 2 timeouts left. We were actually going to allow them to line up and kind of see what they're in, and then call timeout, and then kind of come over and make sure that we're good to go. But we were in a great call. We had the guys covered, and our defensive line came through with another big play. And I'm just so proud of the way that that night was about our defense. We're going to win the football games. We're going to withstand the big blows from the offensive linemen. And it was another great play made by Cameron Coleman coming off and slowing the quarterback up, and then Alex Norwood coming from the backside, finishing it off. And it just, you talk about 1 point, 1 play being the deciding factor. You talk about all the situations that happen in big football games. And, when you, as a coach, when you think your kids aren't listening and they're not going to get it, they came through at the biggest moment ever and the biggest play of our season up to this point. And just so happy that our guys came through, and there's something special about this football team, and it's different guys making plays, and for us to capitalize on that in that situation, and them having a lot of momentum right there, and really going for the win, really says a lot about our football team.
On to Coach Shawn Witten, the Shawn Witten Coaches Show. It's out every Wednesday, brand new show, easy to find, TomTaylorSports.com. It's there. Of course, every show's there. You can go back and watch all the past shows and all of our future shows. It's video and audio on demand, which is the future. It's where we're headed. A lot of folks are live streaming and doing exactly what we're doing, but we love coming over here each week and talking to this gentleman. And I guess maybe one of the happiest guys on that sideline, because I was told you were high-fiving and chest bumping, and you love these kids, and you couldn't help but run out there and celebrate with them.
Well, I'll tell you, I was probably the most excited I've ever been. Even, we've had some good teams and some great moments here, but just the resilience that our team showed, being down, and able to come back, and different guys stepping up, and the way our defense played. I wanted the crowd to recognize and applaud our kids for their effort, and really applaud both teams for hanging in there. I mean, you're talking about a physical game, a mentally exhausting football game, and our kids never backed down. We took some blows, we took some battles, and we were able to come out on top. But just so excited, a lot of passionate, a lot of energy. Our preparation through the course of the week, we were physical. Try to establish the physicality all week. It took a big toll on our football team, but get different guys stepping up, making big plays. We had moved Johnny Ray Woodby he was inside. We moved him to an outside guy to help us force the edge. A number of guys. Jeremiah Turner had some big hits. For us to create the turnover when we needed to. It's just it was an awesome night to be a part of Elizabethton Cyclones.
Awesome night to be a Cyclone. It starts right with this man, the leadership, and it trickles down. He's tough and resilient, and it shows with his football team. So, Coach, you get a big non-conference win, you get a big deep breath, and you wake up Saturday morning and go, uh-oh, Pigeon Forge is coming to town. So we get back into conference, and we'll talk about the Tigers coming because they're 9th in the state. Cyclones this week in the polls are 5th in the state. So another barn burner we're going to be talking about after the break. And we'll come back and talk about Pigeon Forge and take a look at the Mountain 8 Conference as we roll on here on the Shawn Witten Coaches Show.
Trucks, 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 and more trucks. At Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, we have Silverado trucks everywhere with discounts up to $11,000 off MSRP on select Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. 15 Spark, $10,995. 15 Sonic, $12,995. 15 Track, $17,995. 15 Equinox, $20,995. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where they leave you asking, how do they do that?
Whether lying on the beach, just working in your yard, or watching NASCAR racing this weekend in Bristol, your skin needs protection from the harmful effects of the sun. Blue Lizard Sunscreen delivers broad-spectrum SPF 30-plus protection that comes with smart bottle technology. Our bottle changes colors in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. It's the brand most recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Plus, it's made right here in the Tri-Cities. Blue Lizard Sunscreen. We've got you covered. Welcome back to the Shawn Witten Coaching Show. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. Love coming over every week and talking to these gentlemen. I love the passion in this city for Elizabethton football. I mean, it is an event. Everybody gets jacked up. And, of course, Friday night, coming back home after that big win at the Stone Castle, get ready for a big football game. Let's set the Class 3A Region 1 standings of the Mountain 8 Conference. Elizabethton at 2-0. Pigeon Forge, this week's opponent, 2-0. Chucky Doak, the Black Knights, are 2-0. Then you have Northview Academy and Unicoi County at 1-1. And right now in the conference, Claiborne, West Green, and Johnson County all at 0-2 in conference play. Scheduled this week, Claiborne County at Johnson County. As we said earlier in the show, no more non-conference from here on in to the end of the regular season, end of October. It's all conference play. Claiborne County at Johnson County. West Green will be at Northview Academy. And Unicoi County, the Blue Devils, travel down to take on the Chucky Doak Black Knights in conference play. And, Coach, we get ready for a football game here, as we said earlier. Number 5 Elizabethton this week in the entire state in 3A football against number 9 Pigeon Forge. And once again, I'm going to use that term, should be a whammer jammer and an old-fashioned slobber knocker.
Well, it's another big week for us, and no time to really catch our breath, and got to get right back at it. Just an unfamiliar opponent for us. It's first time in school history we're playing Pigeon Forge. They're off to a good start. They got a new coach 2 years ago, Scott Meadows, who's held quite a big jobs in the last since his coaching career. He started at Alcoa. He's been at Catholic. He's been at William Blount. He's been in Jefferson County. This team was in the playoffs last year in the second round, got beat by CAK. They got everybody back from that football team. They're off to a good start, and it's going to be a challenging game. For us, it's kind of just like coming off that big game against Science Hill. I mean, you put everything into it, physically and mentally, emotionally, and it takes a lot out of you. And it gives you a couple of days to kind of. You got to bounce back, but you got to get yourself ready. But this game, is for first in the league. We got 5 conference games coming up in a row, and this one's a big test for us. We're glad to be back home after being on the road the last 2 weeks, and our guys got to regroup and get ready.
Should be a great football game. Let's take a look at Pigeon Forge. They opened things up by beating Gatlinburg-Pittman 29-14. Defeated Seymour at Seymour 36-26. Northview Academy conference opener got them pretty good 48-6. West Green got them 38-7. Lost last week 31-28, so they're 4-1. And, of course, had a 4-game winning streak until they lost last week. And so a 4-1 football team ranked 9th in the state. And they're orange and black as well, the Tigers. And so let's talk about their football team. What do they bring to the table?
Well, they're a good football team. They do a lot of things. There are a lot of similarities to us in some ways from a skill standpoint. Got a really good running back. They got a lefty quarterback, do multiple formations. They're very good schematically on offense, moving people around. They do a lot of motions, a lot of shifts offensively. It's a tough task each week defensively. It'd be nice if you could face the same opponent every week, because so many things you wouldn't have to work on. But it's going to be a true test for our secondary. Alignments, adjusting. Multiple formations you got to be aware of. Probably not as much as a physicality that we had last week against Bristol. Not really the same type linemen. More linemen that are quick. Tall, lanky, that pull quite a bit, but. And tough, one of the things that they do defensively is they run a lot of the same defense that we do, so we'll get a lot of great matchups against our defense this week. But it's going to be a tough task. I got a big running back. He's already rushed for over 900 yards. One game he rushed for 6 touchdowns. He's kind of the bruiser of the football team. He's about 6'2", 215 pounds. He's a downhill guy, likes to run with his shoulders square. But, it's an unfamiliar opponent. Like I said, it's kind of fun preparing against a team you've never played before. Kind of fun, going into these last 5 weeks with, just kind of the unknown. Just going to find a lot about our football team to see, if we can prepare and approach it, the way that we're supposed to. But I'm just so proud of our football team to be at this point. If we can stop and take a breath for a minute, to be 4-1, to play the football teams that we've had, to see the growth and the maturity and development of our football team. Only having 10 seniors, we lose our stud tailback 2 weeks before the season. The way that this football team is just every week, Tom, it's just a different group. It's a different way that we're winning football games. And some guys are play well one week. Some guys, they're just consistent. A different group steps up, and it's just exciting. I mean, when we go into a football game, you like to be prepared and you like to have a game plan, but it's just a different group of kids stepping up, and that's what we go with.
Absolutely. You were talking about taking a breath earlier. Of course, folks know your schedule. Your open date was the first week. You started a week later than everybody else. Do you like the fact that you got to go 10 straight? Would you like in the future, for future scheduling, to have a break somewhere along the way in the season?
Well, it'd be nice right now, especially after this week, to kind of have that break. But, being a young football team, having that extra preparation during the summer really probably helped our football team, and it's really got us going. And the start that we had against Johnson City has really got us off to where we are right now. I mean, without that start, the way we played against that game, the way that we got some great minutes and had a lot of young kids is really why we are here where we are. And that's a credit to our kids, credit to our coaches, but a number of different guys stepping up. Alex Norwood, as a kid that's, been shooting basketball his whole life, comes out last year, and it's his first, he's a guy that, had an unbelievable game last week, and then here we are this week. We've been throwing the football the last 2 weeks. Hunter Tyree is a guy that we've been mentioning, and now we get the Turner brothers have come up with a big game. And then, it's just always great when you get guys like Scotty Oliver, who was out of the lineup for 2 weeks, and he's back in the lineup last week, and what those guys bring to our football team and how they play their role, and Scotty understands his role. He's in there to go slobber knock people, and and you can't find a better person that does that, and it's just awesome when we watched that film on Friday. I can't tell you how proud of just to be a part of it, to be an influence on the kids, and for them to really take your message and to really go out there and we made some adjustments at halftime. You like the way that the kids listened and responded, and they went out there and did what we asked them to do, and that's why there's so much passionate here at Elizabethton. It's just there's a lot of young kids that are bringing a lot of energy to our football team, and all the things that you ask them to do. I mean, there's like a laundry list of things that you talk about going into the game that you got to hit on, and our kids are doing exactly what we're telling them, and it's just an unbelievable group to be a part of. And, I told the kids yesterday, we got something special going on right here, and if we can continue to limit our distractions, man, we got a great season ahead of us.
Yeah, Bowers, we've talked about him. Of course, Preston throughout the course of these shows, the Turner brothers, as you said, and Hunter, and it seemed like somebody every week stepping up for the Cyclones to make it happen. Let's recap the season. As he said, he lost early on to Science Hill 28-21, but since then they've rolled off 4 in a row. Johnson County 38-13, Daniel Boone 21-7, and by the way, they're undefeated on their home turf in the new stadium starting for Friday night, so you got to defend your turf from that reason alone. They go to Unicoi County, win 35-0, pitched that shutout. Then last week, of course, we talked about the 21-21 over Tennessee High. Coming up after this week, you go to Claiborne, come back to West Green for homecoming on October the 16th, go to Chucky Doak on the 23rd, and wrap things up on a Thursday night, senior night against Northview Academy here at Citizens Bank Stadium. So a lot of football left, and of course the ball's in your hand. You control your own destiny. Starts Friday night, and I know this Friday night it's Black Friday. Tell us about that.
Well, it's just we're the high school game of the week, and we're coming home, and we want to do a Blackout Friday and just try to get as much community support for our kids, and just to try to do a good job of getting the student body going, and see if we can't just come out of this out of the gate with a big bang, and just try to get as much passion and emotion and energy and electricity as we can, playing like I said, just a new team. We start a new era today, playing the last 5 weeks of teams we've not really played before, and it's just going to be fun. It's going to be fun to be a part of it. We're setting something new up, and we look forward to finish out the Mountain 8 the right way. And, this game is for, November. It's what you work hard for. You set goals.
Exactly.
We still have our goals in front of us, and we want to be able to, defend our home turf. We want to be here, all the way through November as we can, and that's what you play for. You play for the playoffs. We want to be able to get home field advantage, and it's just going to be fun. It's going to be fun to be a part of it. We got something exciting going on right here, and and we hope to get as much support out there on Friday night as we can.
So what you do on October the 2nd will have in large part what's going to be going on in November. It's a great point. It's also you're the Tennessee Titan game. Tell us about that.
Well, we're fortunate, when we're the number 5 ranked team versus the number 9 ranked team, and you get this game kind of middle of the year, and no more non-conference games left. But just the way to start the rest of the season off with the way this is, and unfortunately they got beat last week by 3 points to a 5A school, but just so much on the table for two teams that never faced against each other, and that's just awesome. It says a lot about both teams. It says a lot about both schools. Coach Meadows doing a good job revamping Pigeon Forge to get them to this point. First time they got a lot of local games too. The first time in school history they beat Gatlinburg Pittman. They played a big rival game in Seymour, played a big rival game in Northview that's starting up. So just a good football team, a resilient bunch of kids going to come up here and try to get their season going for the conference game. So we're excited about it. We know that we like to put a message out there that the conference always runs through Elizabethton. And but I love this team. I love the kids. We're off to a good start. We couldn't ask to be in a better place than we are right now. It's just going forward, can we forget about where we are right now? And just a lot of excitement. But I tell you, Tom, it's just when our kids take the field, they deserve to have as much support as they can. And in this town and this community that breeds football, the tradition that's been in place, the fans that we always travel to the games, and our Betsy band. It's always a credit to the kids, but there's so many people that make this thing work. Our touchdown club, our support groups, our faculty and staff, but the kids deserve to have as many people there cheering for them and the sport, because they Friday night they laid their hearts out there, and that's what it's all about.
I loved it. Got me fired up. Put me in, Coach. The road goes through Elizabethton. I love that. That's what it is, right?
Sounds good.
It sounds good. Let's go get him. I like this guy. This guy's class. We appreciate it so very much. Again, Robert Kell producing this each week. It's a lot of work to do this, and he does a great job. I want to say thanks to Robert behind the scenes making the show go. Also, our sponsors, Champion Chevrolet and Blue Lizard. And, of course, thank you. We put out a show every week about this gentleman. And when you come over here and talk to Shawn Witten, he's promoting these kids. He's positive. He's upbeat. And if you can't gather here in the last 15 minutes, he loves Elizabethton and Elizabethton football, then you missed the boat, because this guy's all about it. And we appreciate him very, very much. And it'll come out at Wednesday at noon. New show every week. All you got to do is just go to TomTaylorSports.com, and there it is. And we hope you'll watch it and again and again and again, because it's video and audio on demand. And then send it to someone and say, hey, catch this show. If they're a Cyclone fan somewhere in another part of the country or somewhere else in the world, let them know about it to watch, right here and see the Cyclones and the highlight package. And, of course, hear the man himself talk about his football team. So next week we'll review, of course, the Pigeon Forge game and get ready for the next round of the next stop for Cyclone football. So until then, for Robert Kell and head coach Shawn Witten, I'm Tom Taylor, your host, and always will tell you, win or lose, be a good sport. It's on, everybody.